This past year has been a year like no other. With the continued threat of the COVID-19 pandemic upon us, families have encountered unimaginable challenges. From health scares and tragic losses to economic and financial hardships, the reach of this pandemic has been wide. This year has been about the safekeeping of ourselves and those we love most. Despite the unease that has surrounded this virus, there is a calm, steady, and unrelenting force that many of us take for granted. Without question, our nation is home to the most powerful military in the world. America's strength and the liberties that we enjoy today are a result of the millions of veterans who have dedicated their lives to this country, and a result of the nearly 2 million active duty personnel and reserve forces that defend our nation today. Even though this pandemic has created interruptions far and wide, every day, without hesitation, America's defenders lace up their boots to serve and protect the greatest democracy this world has ever known. These men and women get no days off. Instead, they live their work 24/7, ready to respond at a moment's notice. And regardless of the danger or divisiveness that threatens our country, they rise, united in an unbreakable bond that was created through generations of service and sacrifice. It is their valor and their commitment to upholding the cherished principles of honor and courage that protect the integrity of who we are as a nation. Peoria's Veterans Memorial is here to show our veterans and the members of our armed forces that we support them, we honor them, and that we are eternally grateful for them. The 88-foot immovable black granite wall is engraved with memorable events to remind our nation of the sacrifices that have been made throughout our history. Our honor wall, now engraved with the names of 283 brave patriots, some living and some no longer with us, represent remarkable military legacies. We are emboldened by our veterans, and this memorial is here to commemorate them. From America's flag flying triumphantly over the reflective waters, to the distinctive rounded nose of the incredible warhorse Huey helicopter, this area represents the unwavering spirit of American patriotism. On this day, set aside for those who served in war and peace, and the brave heroes who continue to answer this noble calling, I hope you'll join me in honoring the values that our military represents. Let your patriotism and love of this nation run deep as a tribute to those who have dedicated their lives to something far greater than themselves. The resilience of our American spirit will unite us and carry us forward. God bless our veterans, God bless their families, and God bless America.
On Veterans Day, we honor soldiers who protect the nation. For service as our warriors, they deserve our admiration. Some of them were drafted, some were volunteers. For some it was just yesterday, for some it has been years. In the jungle or the desert, on land or on the sea, they did whatever was needed to secure a victory. Some came back, some didn't. They defended us everywhere. Many saw combat, while some rode a desk. All of them did their share. Let every veteran be honored. Don't let politics get in the way. Without them, freedom would have died. What they did, we can't repay. We owe so much to them who kept us safe from terror. So when you see a uniform, let's say thank you to every wearer.
When September 11th of 2001 happened, that same week I enrolled in the Marines, and I was in the delayed entry program. So I was all for going in as soon as I could, and basically the earliest they could get me out was as soon as I graduated, and was like November.
When I first was drafted, I was in the anti-aircraft artillery, which was connected with the Air Force. And I didn't fly planes, I shot them down, supposedly. Fortunately, I never got in any kind of battle or, yeah.
When I got out of high school, I didn't have a lot of direction in my life and kind of was floundering from job to job. So finally I thought the Air Force might be a good place for me to go. I went and talked to a recruiter and the rest is history.
Probably the hardest thing for me was having to tell my mom I was going to go back to Vietnam. So that was tough. I served from 1966, 1970 in a Vietnam tour, back-to-back tour from 66 to 68.
I joined the Marines because it was the one service that I just kind of walked in and all 4 branches were right there. And I said, the first one calls me in, I'm going to go in too. And that's how I joined, kind of like fate. And I'm the first Marine in the family history. Everyone else had served in other branches of the service, from the Air Force to the Navy, Army. All of our family members had served in some branch of the force, but I was the first Marine.
I proudly served, and we have a lot of veterans in the police department that have served. And I always think about the people who served before me. Me being one of those veterans, I'll fight for those veterans every day, any time of the week.
Hey, we need to show that we appreciate these guys, and they went to war for us. It might not have been a good war, but we did it. And a lot of us say that we'd do it again, if we could help the people.
Everybody that ever served should be recognized and should have people behind them knowing that, hey, you sacrificed something or you sacrificed everything for this country. We're happy to see everybody kind of get together and say, hey, thank you for your service. And we appreciate it. It hits us in the heart.
As the veteran liaison to the City Council, the recognition and care for Peoria's veteran community has been my passion for the past 8 years and continues today. We've certainly accomplished a lot in that time, from the inception and creation of the Peoria Veterans Memorial to the recent expansion of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Plaza. Additionally, Peoria's Veterans Board collaborates with the Peoria Chamber and other local nonprofit agencies to host networking events and resource fairs that provide local veterans with the tools and connections needed to thrive. For all that we have accomplished, I know there is still so much work to be done. I continue to challenge our board and our community to find innovative ways to serve our veterans. I chose that poem earlier because it highlights the reality many veterans faced in their careers and reminds us to respect those differences because the sacrifices remain the same. They can be small sacrifices, such as standing watch in the middle of the night, or in some cases, it means a big sacrifice like missing birthdays, anniversaries, or holidays. It could mean the ultimate sacrifice of laying down your life in defense of our nation. Whether you believe in the cause or not, it is another human who decided that these personal sacrifices were worth it for our freedoms, and that selfless act should never be forgotten. There are many veterans who are near and dear to my heart, each one with a unique story to tell. These veterans create a sense of pride for our country that is infectious. Simply being aware of their dedication leads us to consider how meaningful the values of our country truly are. Too often we let politics and emotion dictate the conversation, but why let it? The facts are just that, and right now there are more than 500,000 veterans here in Arizona. Many are facing homelessness, medical and mental health issues every day. I am hopeful that by coming together and collaborating as a community, Peoria can lead the charge and create a lasting impact for local veterans. This Veterans Day, I encourage you to take a moment, reflect on the sacrifices a veteran in your life has made, and express your appreciation. If you hear the call to action, I challenge you to volunteer your time with a local veterans group. If you don't know where to start, just contact my office and we can put you in touch with a number of organizations across the community. So remember, when you see someone who has served our country, just lean over and say thank you. In many cases, it will mean more than any medals or ribbons ever will.